Well, welcome to 59 action-packed, thought-provoking minutes built around the 4 steps to stop procrastinating and start producing results. This is Ann Backrack. This web class is being recorded and you will have access to it if you want to review it or the slides for any reason after this session. Now, to ask questions, please type your question in the question area of the GoToMeeting, and I will answer the questions at the end. Just want to give a special thanks to InsuranceWebX Insider for hosting this webinar. I'm glad to be with all of you today to share some ideas that I think will help you be even more successful, whatever that is or whatever that means for you. Jim Rohn has a great quote. He says, we must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regrets weigh tons. So I guess my question for you is lack of motivation stopping you from getting things done? Well, if you're sitting at your desk with a to-do list or an action list a mile long, but you can't find that motivation to really tackle that list, you're probably attending the right web class today. By the end of this session, you'll be able to reclaim, hopefully, your motivation and enthusiasm, and that will then lead to helping you stop procrastination in your life, or at least reducing it. How is it that some days it feels as if you have enough motivation where you can conquer the world, yet other days the smallest task seems to just suck the life right out of you? Well, the answer is simple. Motivation is fueled by your level of desire and commitment, and when your desire and commitment falls, so does your motivation. Have you ever been so engrossed by something that you love so much that you actually lost track of time? Your desire and commitment was so high that time became basically non-existent, when in reality several hours have passed before you knew it. So how do you deal with lack of motivation for tasks that you dislike and wish you really didn't have to do, yet they must be done? Well, there are two basic strategies for motivation. You either have a lot of negative feeling around something you want to avoid, and that gets you to take action by moving away from that negative feeling. Or 2, you have a lot of positive energy around doing or having something, and therefore you want to go out and just do it. So you move towards that with a very positive feeling. So basically, you're either moving away from or moving towards something. Now, I personally think that motivation should come from all the great positive things that you'll receive and how they make you feel when you actually achieve something. The financial and emotional benefits, for example. The benefits and results you experience from doing what you need to do to achieve the goals you've set. What's interesting actually to me is that the majority of people seem to get motivated by moving away from something before they move towards something. I find this to unfortunately be true when I coach financial advisors. They say, for example, they want to acquire 2 new ideal clients per month, which means they have to do a certain amount of hours of actual ideal client acquisition activities. That's how you get the results. When we review their weekly goals and there aren't near enough hours in ideal client acquisition activities to achieve their goal, the positive end result of having these 2 new ideal clients and the revenue they generate apparently isn't enough motivation to get them to do the actual work. Now, when this consistently happens, it significantly impacts their overall annual goal and them actually achieving their ideal business and their ideal life by their desired date. So because of this, we have to set, unfortunately, consequences for them not achieving their weekly goals. So I asked them for a name of a charity or an organization they really don't like. I mean, they would really hate to give this organization a penny. For example, I have some clients who don't want to support the homeless, believe it or not. Anything to do with maybe helping cats. Again, I don't get that one, but it's not me. Maybe it's the NRA or donating to a certain political candidate or party. So what happens is I have them sign an agreement about what they're agreeing to do and committing themselves to doing. So should they not achieve that goal, they'll be donating $500 or some amount of money that is large enough for it to really, quote, hurt to one of these charities or organizations that they really don't want to support. Yes, in some cases, I secretively would like to donate to some of the charities, like maybe the cats, for example. But ultimately, it's really about doing the work required. So they really don't have to make that donation to something they really don't want to donate to. And then being on that list for that organization and getting, mailing now from them, that would really not be good. Think of something that you recently procrastinated on and put it off. Did you finally take action from fearing the outcome if you didn't take action, or the excitement of desiring the outcome if you did take action? Which feeling, fear or desire, do you take action from most often? Oh, I was just reading a comment here from Nancy. Yes, it is proven. I know. That's why it's my point that she says it's been proven many years ago that people are most likely to take action based on fear of loss rather than hope for gain. And that's true. That's my point, though. You just need to figure it out what it is for you, because not everybody is actually the same. And my wishful thinking always wants them for it to be the positive, the hope, the outcome from doing that, the feeling good, the making a difference, the whatever it is the emotional payoff in addition to the revenue. The good news is that your lack of motivation can be resolved with only maybe even just a slight shift of your thinking. So consider these 3 tips I'm going to go over with you. The first one is motivation is contagious. The best way to change how you approach getting things done, even if you don't enjoy the task, is to surround yourself with positive role models. We all know that some successful advisors are pros at motivating themselves and maybe even others. They have to be, because when you're your own boss, there's no one to force you into action, so they learn to do it themselves, and with some support of role models and peers, that could be useful to you as well. So the action step for this is that if this is something, and as I go through all of these things that we're going to cover within our hour, is you're going to get some ideas, so make sure you take notes and jot some things down, and you can come back and kind of lay out a game plan for yourself. So some might apply to you and others might not. Just take the ones that do. So the first action step around this is to find a successful advisor who is a pro at self-motivation and learn as much as you can from that person or these people. Pay special attention to what they say about how they keep their motivation high and what they do to get themselves basically out of a slump if they find themselves in one. Number 2 is steer clear of what we might call a drag me down. As an advisor, you're different than, in my opinion, than the average, quote, Joe, so to speak. So who enjoys living in mediocrity? It's important to keep this in mind when you're exposed to people or places that drag you down or hold you back. They may be friends even. They may be family, peers, or places that are meaningful to you, but they drag you down. They make you go back to thinking small or question your deservedness of a goal. I had this happen once. I was coaching someone and he came up with his whole game plan for the year, and his partner and his associates all told him that his goals were ridiculous, that he would never achieve them. They were way too big. They were just not even in the realm of reality, and kept trying to discourage him from what he put down as what he wanted for his goals for the year. Well, at the end of the year, he actually exceeded every single one of his goals that he set, except one, which he did achieve. He just achieved it. He didn't exceed it, but he exceeded every one of his goals. So basically, he could go back to those people and say, you know, I didn't pay attention to you, and look what I did. So it was awesome, and he felt so great for being able to do that and not listen to the people around him. So here's the action step around this. Limit your exposure to people or places that drag you down. Doing this doesn't make them less important, and it certainly doesn't mean that they're not special to you. However, as an advisor, it's important that you stay motivated and positive, because your success is riding on your ability to continually propel yourself forward. If a family member or friend or peer tells you that you can't do something or tries to hold you back, just politely ask them to support you and believe in you, and that you can do anything that you set your mind to. Number 3 is when you can't get out of a frump. So people who are giddy 24/7 are very rare. And for most of us, we have days when we don't feel like doing what we're supposed to do, no matter how much we try to convince ourselves to just go and tackle that and get it done. We try to get into the groove, but can't seem to rally the motivation necessary. The more you try, the more frustrated you become, and that depletes the last spark of any motivation that you had. There will always be things that need to be done, even if you don't feel like doing them. If you can approach getting things done with the right perspective and motivation, they will be much easier to handle, and you'll get them done actually much faster. Peter Vidmar says, to be an Olympic champion, you only need to work out 2 times, when you feel like it and when you don't feel like it. So that's what we're striving to do as well. Action step number 3. If your day is stuck in a frump, the best thing you can do for you and your business is maybe to just step away from it. Do what makes you happy, so you can come back and really get things done with a clear, focused, and content heart. Go do something that feels or feeds your soul or refuels your motivation. It could be doing anything that you really enjoy. So refueling your motivation is essential to your health and happiness. So when you're feeling empty, stop everything and do something for you. However, don't make this a frequent habit or excuse not to do what has to be done to achieve your goals, so you can enjoy what's truly important to you in life. So occasionally that's good. If we feel tired, sometimes we just need to take a nap to refuel. There's so many people that go through life actually sleep deprived, which doesn't help them really have the energy they need to really go through what they need to do every single day. Self-motivation cannot exist without purpose, and often we find it difficult to locate and create that stimulus and passion that drives us to become motivated and feel alive with really ripe with anticipation. So what can we do to increase our motivation and find the passion that drives us upward and onward? I just recently was talking to somebody who just felt like they really had lost their motivation or passion. So what I'm going to do is share with you 9 solutions to help you become even more self-motivated. So the first one is plan your schedule or calendar. Accomplishing the day-to-day tasks we have to complete builds confidence and a sense of achievement. Use your calendar to your benefit. Put your highest payoff activities on it and then just do what it says to do when it says to do it. Let the calendar really dictate to you to what you need to do every single minute of every single day, basically. I've seen way too many advisors' calendars with very little on it, and then when I ask them what are they doing when there's nothing on their calendar, they pause, don't really exactly know. They do agree that what they are doing probably isn't a high payoff activity though, or even activities that were really moving them forward in the achievement of their goals. Don't let that be you. The second one is prioritize your day. It will help to prioritize your tasks and activities. Make a list of all the things that you have to do and put them in order of priority and importance. The activities that have the highest probability of helping you achieve your goals would be ranked as the most important. Now, as you finish each task, you can cross off items as you complete them. This will help you organize your workload. We all have a finite amount of time, 168 hours in a week, so we have to use it wisely. We spend our time every second of every day and we cannot get it back. At the end of each day, review your plans for the next day and record any tasks that you didn't complete today. Start your workday by reviewing your list and prioritizing the most important projects and activities. Ease yourself into the day by completing a high payoff activity right away. One of the things Brian Tracy calls this is eating that frog first thing in the morning. This gives you the sense of achievement and encourages creativity and motivation. The other thing that helps is breaking down really large projects or activities into smaller, more bite-sized tasks. Sometimes people's natural inclination is to avoid larger projects. They just seem too daunting at first glance. But when you break them down, it becomes much more manageable and easier for you to tackle. What you see on your screen is a URL for a prioritized action list example in an Excel spreadsheet. And this can be actually in any client contact management system you have or Outlook. They have something called the task list. And so you can use that, but this is how the outline of what I created, a prioritized action list, might look, and sometimes you can customize that. I'm having a comment from Steve who says he's having problem with audio. Is anybody else having a problem with the audio, listening to me or hearing me? Okay. Everybody else is saying it's okay. Sorry about that, Steve. Thank you guys for answering. Okay, so Steve can always listen to the replay. Fortunately, we'll be recording it. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in on that. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. Number 3 is schedule your emails and phone calls. And it's my belief that working by appointment only as much as possible with everything that you do is an important thing for you to get in the habit of doing if you aren't already. Set a time each day for reading and following up on emails. Put it in your calendar as a recurring event and just time block that. Try it for a month and see how it works. Now, I'm going to strongly recommend you don't open emails first thing in the morning or as soon as they arrive. They can become a major distraction and throw your entire day off from what you really need to be doing to achieve your goals. So in this example, I typically recommend the people that I coach to schedule their email checking around 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock at the earliest, and then maybe again at 4 o'clock at the end of the day and respond to them. But don't leave it on. Don't let those things, I've seen some people's, when I use my GoToMeeting with my other advisor coaching clients, things pop up on their screen as we're talking, and I said, you get all these notices while you're in something else that emails are coming in or things are popping. I said, turn that off. I mean, it's hugely distracting. So I always say, try it for a month. It's not always easy to get out of a, quote, not the best habit. I'm not going to call it a bad habit, but not the best habit, to move to something else that's going to be more time efficient and serve you better. Okay. Well, this is just an example of time blocking. So even with like if the phone rings and somebody answers the phone, you want to make sure that they're scheduling an appointment for you. So if you have somebody else in your office that actually can do that, that'd be great. Instead of, I'm calling for Andy, and is Andy there? And they go, oh yes, and they transfer me right away to Andy. Now I've just interrupted Andy from maybe he was supposed to be doing client acquisition time. So that wouldn't be good. Or maybe he's serving some clients right now. He's working on things like that. So that wouldn't be good. You want to be able to stay focused on the things that you need to be doing, and then scheduling a time, because the person scheduling can see, if it's an existing client, then you just schedule it during client service time. If it's, and I usually differentiate between ideal clients and non-ideal clients, and they all have blocks of time. But again, they can easily see where to put things in your calendar that would be by appointment only. That way you're both focused on just what's important with that particular caller. So that always works out better. So work towards that. Number 4 is ignore distractions and reduce interruptions. So ignoring distractions is difficult in a busy, noise-filled work environment, but you can train your brain to block out distracting sounds and only focus on those you wish to hear. So really work to keep distractions to a minimum so you can really focus on what your calendar says you need to be doing. So again, that's somebody coming into your office and saying, hey, Barry, what's happening with this? Or you're going out and interrupting staff saying, hey, what's going on with that? That's why you schedule meetings even with internal people as well as external people, so you can go over everything you need to review with them once a day or twice a day, and you don't get interrupted any other times, so you're staying focused. They can actually put time in your calendar to talk to you as well. So again, by appointment only, internal, external, it's face-to-face or phone appointments, all works better. Number 5, reward your achievements. So start on the most basic level by treating your body and mind to a system of reward, maybe even in punishments. We talked about kind of the punishment before. When you complete a goal as stated, consider to reward yourself. When you procrastinate, you obviously get nothing done. Not only does this train your mind to work harder, it also provides a little extra motivation for you to actually work and get to that finish line so you can actually claim that reward. You might create maybe different levels of reward, for example. Take a 15-minute break to refresh your mind and body before moving on to the next activity could actually be the reward. Now, the reward should obviously be on par with the achievement. So, for example, if you have a revenue goal of earning $10,000 within a certain period of time, and you hit that goal, you obviously don't want to go out and buy something that's $11,000. So you want it to be a good reward that it makes you feel good, but not out of alignment. Number 6, set specific and measurable goals. So setting goals and then working towards achieving them is what helps motivate us to even greater success. So start by writing your goals down and position them so they're visible. We all love imagery. So if your goal is to take the family on vacation, for example, to Disney World, cut photos out of travel magazines and place them on a goal board or an inspiration board or a vision board. I'm sure you've all heard of something like that. It's just basically, hey, what do I really want in this world? What am I really striving for? Why am I doing all this? This is kind of the ultimate end result. And that could be your reward is Disney World, for, let's say you got 24 ideal clients this year. So, hey, next year we're all going to Disney World. So that might be your reward. And now, a goal, just like with clients, a goal has to have a specific month, day, and year, and may also require incremental completion dates depending on the goal. So again, if you have a super big goal, you might want to chunk it down into smaller bite-sized goals along the way so you can actually then create the activity required to do that. Number 7, get clear on why or the reason. So when you get clear on your why or the reason you're working on any particular task or activity, you can intellectually grasp whether you really need to be doing it at all or having maybe someone else do it. Try this exercise. Ask yourself, why am I doing blank, whatever that task is? If your answer isn't a really good enough why, you know you shouldn't be spending your valuable time on it. Now, the other question that I like to ask, it's also around delegation. So maybe it has to be done, but it's not something you have to do. You should really only do the things that you can do. Everything else that can be delegated should be delegated if it's not already, or eventually can be delegated. Maybe you don't have all the staff people in place to do that yet, but you can at least start making a list of all those things to move off your plate. So why am I doing it? You know, really think about that. And as you're doing some things, could someone else actually do them? If so, start delegating them over. Okay. Number 8 is adapt a support group or an accountability group or a mastermind group or some kind of partner group. So remaining motivated 100% of the time isn't always easy to do. So during those times when you feel your motivation levels falling a bit, call on your, cheering squad, your mastermind partner, an accountability partner, somebody that maybe is in your group, and just, hey, have them, really help you get really clear. You might even read a file that you keep from happy and satisfied clients. I tell all of my clients to create a me file if you don't have one already. So you, all the time, I know you've heard all these things. So you've heard people say how wonderful what you're doing is because it impacts their life in X, Y, and Z way. So when they tell you all these things, don't just at the moment feel good, really pay attention to what they're saying and create a me file. So you can create audio me files, you can create paper me files, you can create, all kinds of ways to just, hey, when your motivation is down just a bit, hey, go and read your me file or go listen to an audio of something you recorded from a client meeting that they said how wonderful you and your team were at helping them achieve their goals. There is an example of peer accountability coaching actually on my website at accountabilitycoach.com. It gives you a couple different types of coaching options if you go under the coaching options section. I think there's one for maybe group coaching or peer coaching. So if you're interested in that and don't already do something like that, you can see an example and consider that. Number 9 is take time out. Really unplug. Just as it's important to schedule your days so you create a good work routine that produces results, it's equally important to schedule your time out accordingly. So give yourself, me time when you need it. In fact, many successful leaders of the industry block out quality time on their calendar before they schedule any of their appointments. So when do you really want to take your me time and get something scheduled so you're committed to that and can't, undo that? Some me time might just be something like maybe a brisk walk, around the block, or, just something that feels really good to unplug. Maybe it's a massage. Maybe you want to go swimming or play tennis or go for a bike ride, or plan quality think time around something that's really spiritual related or motivating to you. Really unplug and rejuvenate your body and mind. Now, Dan Sullivan calls a whole day where you do absolutely no work at all, nothing, you don't read anything work-related, you don't think about work, nothing work-related, as a free day. So going on an award trip to a really cool place is not a vacation when you're with your peers. If you're ever in doubt of what a real vacation is, just ask your spouse. So like going on the awards trips with you, they're probably not saying, hey, this is a really great vacation, because part of the time is spent in meetings or around other peers and you're all talking about probably staff-related issues or, client issues or how you're running your business, types of things. Okay, so just to recap, the 9 powerful solutions to help you become even more self-motivated. So pick 1 or 2 of these things that you feel could have the biggest impact on you and, work towards implementing the things that we just went over. Okay. Now, there's, again, nothing wrong with taking a little break, but you know that procrastination when you see it. So here's how to recognize the signs of procrastination and stop the cycle of excuses and delays so you can actually achieve even more in life and in your business. Now, if you're an advisor with a support team, you've experienced what it's like delegating an important task under a deadline. So from experience, you've probably learned who you can trust to complete a task well and on time when other people perhaps might fall a bit short of that expectation. So have you ever delegated a time-sensitive task to a staff member or employee only to find them making excuses, waiting until the last minute, or wasting time when they should be actually working on your project? Well, it probably got you fired up if they were not doing what you had expected them to do. So here's the question for you. If you wouldn't or don't tolerate procrastination from anybody else, why would you ever tolerate procrastination from yourself? So, okay, let's establish, first of all, that no one is perfect and no one is completely procrastination-free every moment of every day. That would be ridiculous to think that would be true. However, you can spot a habitual procrastinator anywhere. So I'm going to tell you 7 common signs. So listen carefully and jot down those that you think might resonate with you the most. Number 1, procrastinators are often overly optimistic about completing tasks in little time. Number 2, they think and say they work best under pressure. Number 3, they easily get distracted and lose focus when there's no real urgency. They get a delayed start because they have a false sense that everything is under control, so there's no need to jump in to do it right away. Number 5, when no progress has been made, they offer reassurance that everything is really still under control. Number 6, action driven by panic, the realization that everything is really not under control. Number 7, they scramble at the last minute, working hours on end to complete a project minutes before the actual deadline. Now, the key is to discover the root cause of your procrastination so you can actually work on correcting it. Most procrastination is commonly rooted in 5 issues. The first one is low self-confidence. So that's when you're feeling insecure about your ability to actually complete a task. So forget about completing it well. You probably delay it to avoid feeling maybe stupid, for lack of a better word. Truth be told, you have more than enough smarts to figure anything out. So the good news is that the more times you tackle a task head on and are successful, the easier it is to stop procrastinating. Sometimes we just procrastinate, and then when we do it, it's like, that wasn't so bad. It was really not that tough to do. So you just obviously gain more confidence when you just tackle it head on. Number 2 is the perfectionist. You're a perfectionist and nothing less than stellar is going to be acceptable. So give yourself a break and let go of trying to be perfect. Given your high standards, your best is probably far above par. Somewhere along the line, you tied perfectionism to acceptance or maybe even love, and love should never be dependent on performance. So you might need to explore that. Number 3, rebellion. Procrastination may be your way of expressing your rebellion. So a sort of, you can't tell me what to do. I'll do it when I'm good and ready. Well, this probably didn't work when you tried to use it with your parents, or it did work, and that's why you use it as an adult. So as an advisor, well, you're just shooting yourself in your own foot. Number 4 is manipulation. This is a common characteristic of an insecure advisor. They can't start without me. This project is nothing without my talent. This takes some personal growth to overcome and the realization that discounting the ability of others does not increase your own. So when you expand your skill set, you can stop feeling insecure about your real value. And number 5 is coping with pressure. So procrastination may be a coping skill to dealing with feeling overwhelmed, which a lot of us can feel that way pretty much every single minute of every day. Some people delay until they have the mental stability to perform the task, or they wait until the very last minute to start. Now, while this may certainly be the case some days, the important thing to remember here is not to make a habit of it. So delegate tasks as much as possible, as I mentioned before, to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Ask yourself, as I mentioned before, as you go through your day and you're doing certain things, ask yourself, could someone else do this? Maybe there has to be a process. Maybe there have to be a script that would be created for them to execute. But always be asking yourself, could someone else do whatever it is you're doing? And a lot of times the answer is yes, because we still hold on to things as our excuse really not to do client acquisition work, because that's usually where most advisors fall short. So if the answer is yes, yes, someone else could do this if there was a process or a script or whatever might be needed, then you want to start moving those things off your plate again as soon as possible. Successful advisors are great delegators. So really, why do we procrastinate? So maybe procrastination is something that you decide from this day forward is going to be no longer acceptable in your life. Again, remember we can't 100% eliminate it, all the time from everything, but at least we can work on not procrastinating as much as we have in the past. Now, you probably wouldn't be on this web class if procrastination isn't something that affects you to some degree. So studies indicate that there are a variety of reasons, including some I'm going to mention here for the reasons for procrastination. So one of them actually is fear of success, and that always boggles my mind. Can you believe that? Some of us have a fear of success, strange as that may seem. We aren't sure what that next level holds, so we hold ourselves back from reaching it. The fear of failure. Some people may worry about how others will perceive them when they fail, so they don't bother to even try. They're comfortable right where they are and don't want to attempt things that could cause them to, quote, fail. Perfectionism. Some procrastinators are perfectionists. They may start something, but never seem to get it finished because they view it as, it's just not perfect. So I'm not going to bother completing it. They may think they want to do something, on the other hand, but never really start because they don't know the perfect way to complete the task or projects. My husband sometimes calls these people who are just getting ready to get ready. Excuse me, it could be a lack of self-control. So believe it or not, Impulsivity can be a major contributor to procrastination. Some people allow themselves to be easily distracted all day long with a variety of things that are distracting them. Does that sound at all like things that come up in your world? It could be false beliefs. There are a whole series of these types of issues that contribute to procrastination. So, for example, a couple of them are a fear of the unknown. So many times people procrastinate because they aren't sure of the outcome. They don't know how someone will respond to something that they will say. So they don't say what's really on their mind. When you try things that are new and different, you don't always know how people are going to react. So you just have to do it anyway. There is no other way that I know of to be even more successful than to try new things and just see what happens. Now, the good news, in my opinion, is once you start to try these new things that you were afraid of, you actually will get better and try new things. You aren't sure how it will turn out because you realize that most of them usually turn out to be beneficial to you and help you actually achieve your goals. Now, one of my advisor clients was afraid to ask his friends for referrals at first. He made a commitment to do it anyway. I mean, he was so afraid, for years. It's like, those are my friends, and what will they think of me? And, how will they treat me differently afterwards? It was all this junk going on in his head. And so basically, he made the commitment to do it anyway. He was going to suck it up and do it. When he did it, he found out they were happy to help him. So what was he really afraid of? And he was afraid for no real good reason. So here's my question that I always tell people to ask themselves around this. What's the worst thing that can happen? I mean, what's really the worst thing that could happen if I do this thing? If you look at it on the flip side, what's the best thing that could happen? So I think fear of the unknown, in my opinion, from a lot of the people that I coach, I think that comes up most predominantly is they just don't know. So they don't move forward. But once you do, it gets so more easy to do. And you just said, what was I so afraid of? I'm just going to tackle this now and tackle this now. But you have to just start doing it to feel that way. Another one, a second one, is the need for that rush of adrenaline. So how many times have you heard someone say that they work better under pressure? I've heard that so many times. Or their best work is done when they're really up against the deadlines. And I don't know that that's really true. They might think it is because they're actually stopping from procrastinating, but I don't know that it's probably their best work because when you're under pressure, a lot of times you can make mistakes or other things can happen. Number 3 is overestimating the time left to complete the task, or number 4 is underestimating the time left to actually complete the task. And number 5 is mood versus work displacement. So have you ever heard someone say, or have you felt that you weren't in the right, quote, frame of mind to do the task required when it was scheduled? Now, some people continually have that feeling that they aren't in the right mood or frame of mind to get the task done required. To paraphrase, Mark Allen, who was actually a 6-time Hawaii Ironman triathlon champion, said, you need to do the work the goal requires to achieve it. So just suck it up and basically do it. So procrastination doesn't pay off for anyone, whereas when you take action, even if it's not maybe as successful as you wanted to, you're always probably going to get a better outcome that you would have if you're just doing nothing. So you're moving towards something. Okay. Well, obviously, procrastination kills productivity and doesn't help you achieve your life goals, your business goals, or really enjoy your life the way you want to. It seems like sometimes the only time we get everything done by a specific deadline is when we are leaving on vacation. Have you ever felt that way? Oh my gosh. Oh, now I'm just going to get through all this. Well, why can't we just pretend like we're going on vacation all the time and not procrastinate and then just get it all done? I never could figure that one out. Okay, is procrastination something that's going to be a no longer acceptable in your life from this day forward? Again, remember, we're not saying, 100% you can eliminate all procrastination for everything, but what we're trying to do is reduce the procrastination. So we just move forward, we just get things done, we just make things happen. So what will you do today to work on reducing or stopping procrastination in your life? So just jot down maybe a couple of things that come to your mind. So what am I going to do today and going forward that's going to reduce procrastination in your life? Are you really committed to your success? Now, sure, many advisors say they're committed to their success, but are they really? So when it comes to commitment to your success, there has to be in my opinion, no excuses, no exception rule to back it up. This rule is especially true for most advisors, again, simply because there is no one to point a finger at should things not get done as planned. You're the one that's holding the key to your success, and no one but you really is held accountable. So once you make a commitment to something, there is absolutely has to be no excuses, no exception rule, because that is the only rule that separates the failures from the successes. You must cut out all the ties to an escape or an alternate plan, because that will set in your mind that failure is not an option. In other words, when you establish only one direction to go, that is where you will actually go. So there's no deviating. Oh, well, now maybe I should go do this, or now maybe I should go do that. We don't want to deviate from the game plan or the goal. There's one direction. Okay, so now what we're going to do is give you some ideas to help you stop procrastinating in 4 easy steps. So procrastination, as you know, can also be known as dilly-dallying or dragging your feet or excuse making. And that's something that we all have experienced at one time or another in some area of our life. The learned bad habits of our teens and early adult life can continue to haunt us well into our professional years if we don't make adjustments to them. So to understand a bit better, let's go to the root of the issue. Now, why do people procrastinate to begin with? Well, maybe it's because the thought of completing the task might cause them discomfort, such as fear or anxiety, as I touched on earlier. Notice I said the thought of completing the task. This is an important point. In most instances, our anxiety causes us to procrastinate with a task we perceive as difficult or impossible when it is much easier in reality. The problem comes in when you repeatedly procrastinate, allowing your anxiety to build up into a much bigger bigger problem or issue than it really is itself. Okay. So the number one thing to do in the 4 easy steps. So how do we stop procrastinating? Okay, ready? Here's the secret. This is my opinion. Put your big girl or put your big boy pants on and just do it, for crying out loud. That's the secret. Now, listen closely. So if that doesn't work for you, then number 1 of the 4 steps is determine. So determine specifically what is causing your fear or anxiety. What is it that you're really afraid of? Is it fear of failure, fear that you're not smart enough, fear that you won't ace it or knock it out of the park, fear of disappointing someone? How about fear of disappointing yourself, perhaps? Fear of the unknown, fear of not knowing how to respond to a question, for crying out loud. Let me assure you, you have everything that you need to accomplish more than you can imagine. That's what I believe. You can look at this task as a way to proving yourself or someone else that, hey, I can do it. I'm no longer going to procrastinate. I can do this. This isn't that hard. I'm going to stop having all these things in my brain going around that are preventing me from moving forward. Number 2 is outline. Outline an easy to follow step-by-step plan of action for accomplishing your activities or your tasks. Again, break each step into smaller, non-anxiety inducing steps and write them on a list. So as you complete each step, check it off the list and give yourself a well-deserved pat on the back. And remember, you can also give yourself rewards depending on what it is and what your goals are. Number 3 is intend. Intend to complete the task with ease and success. We've all heard about the power of intention, so use it to your advantage simply by intending what you would like to see or do and making that happen. You'll be amazed what you can accomplish when you leave the anxiety behind. Intend that you can and will do it, and you will achieve the desired outcome. Believe, which is one of my favorite words, it can happen, and many times it just will. Step number 4 is tackle the task without further delay. This is the time for action. No excuses, no overanalyzing, no talking yourself out of it even. Stop getting ready to get ready, in other words. Review your outline, set your intention, and get moving. If you need to, call a friend or a peer for that pep talk. Read your me file. Do whatever it is you need to do. Confidence comes when you don't let the fear control you. The quicker you take action, the less time you have to focus on the fear. So stop getting ready to get ready. The just do it system, determine, outline, intend, and tackle, allows you to understand the root of your fear so you can address it and correct it, relieving the anxiety that does nothing but take away from your true potential. Moreover, actually, when anxiety no longer occupies your energy, you can focus on the goal at hand and accomplish it with confidence, maybe even peace of mind and ease. By using this system, you will not only gain confidence, it actually can improve your peace of mind. In other words, reduce your anxiety so it's less stress. Wouldn't that be great? Skill expansion, learn how to break down the most difficult tasks and set them up for success. Better time management with easy to follow steps. You accomplish more in less time, and then using your calendar really well to help you do that. It can increase your focus. So when you eliminate the fear, you can focus on the goal and just get to it. Adaptability, the do-it system can be applied to any project in any industry. And then you'll have overall success. When you overcome fear, intend the desired outcome, and tackle without excuses, I think you can become unstoppable. So remember, just freaking do what you know you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, and you'll get the outcomes that you're looking for. Okay, so what you have on your screen right now is just a few resources or ideas, and I briefly touched on them earlier, that can help you stop or reduce procrastination. So getting an accountability buddy or partner who you respect and is serious about achieving their goals, and having them and you, and that's what I did in many years, over 20 years ago now. I had an accountability buddy, and every week or week and a half we talked. So we consistently checked in. We had our goals outlined. We talked about what we achieved against the goals, and so we always made progress. You could create accountability group with a specific agenda. These only work if everybody is committed and serious and has a specific agenda to follow. You can hire an accountability coach, so it's one-on-one. Most people find that really daunting, and they're afraid because, oh my gosh, I'm accountable to one person. They're going to see everything that I'm not doing, and that's going to be really hard. It is hard, but it's the one thing that typically helps you get the very best results and in the fastest way. You can join an online program, Stick, and basically Stick is an accountability system where you put in what you want to do, and if you don't do it, it automatically pays a charity that you don't like, and then you put like people, you actually have program on I forget what it is you put. I did this a long time ago when it first came out, but you put in like a support person, and that person helps kind of ping you a little bit for things that you're supposed to be doing, and they also get notified if you don't do it, because then it automatically pays this charity you don't like. And the last one, and I've actually recommended this to several people that I coach, is just get hypnotherapy. Sometimes there's things that are in our way that we feel we can't overcome for some reason. And with hypnotherapy, it just gets rid of whatever is internally going on in our body, our brain, our emotions, and gets it out of the way. So sometimes we're programmed, maybe because of earlier years, a certain way, and with hypnotherapy, it can just help alleviate that issue altogether. So hopefully you've gotten some good value from our time together and taken some good notes and have some good steps of action that you're going to be able to implement immediately to help you both personally and professionally. So you might be asking yourself, what should I do next? Well, the first thing is to actually implement the ideas that you received from this session today. So take a look at your notes, organize them, create a game plan, put time in your calendar that you're going to do it, and make sure that that happens. Secondly, I strongly recommend that you listen either to this web class again, or at least maybe perhaps look at the slides. That might jog your memory as well. So you know what it's like when you watch a movie a second or third time and see things that you didn't hear or see the first time? Well, you might pick up on something the second or third time that you listen to the session that you missed that would be of high value to you. Now, the next thing I was thinking about this morning actually was, what's something that would be super special and valuable that I could offer you today as a reward? So remember, we talked about rewards, that I could offer you, only you, the people that are on the call today, as a reward for showing up because you didn't procrastinate. You showed up, you didn't procrastinate, and so here's your reward. Now, my husband, Bill Backrack, created an Advisor Roadmap virtual training for financial advisors less than a year ago. It's actually super cool. It's a web-based virtual training platform unlike anything else in the financial services industry. It's a state-of-the-art platform that will help you maximize your client value promise, grow your business, and master client acquisition. The training actually uses adult learning theory, which for you, that part doesn't really matter, but it helps to accelerate learning is what you do care about, retention and results. This unique training platform takes most of what Bill has been teaching for the past 25 plus years and condenses it down so you can receive the most proven processes and skills via interactive training courses, videos, scripts, interviews, live webinars, monthly podcast videos, demonstrations, all kinds of great resources in 4 areas: client acquisition, client service, leadership, and time and priority calendar management. Now, when you sign up and be a member, you get all kinds of lessons. You get the monthly video podcast. You get video clips of Bill interviewing various successful people, articles, thought of the day. You have other videos from different programs that he's done. You get a live workshop, a live monthly Q&A webinar with Bill. When you're a member, you have access to attending a 3-day live workshop. It's kind of like going to the dojo. And then you've got self-directed videos, audios, and scripts. Now, the only way you're going to get the reward is when you join under this URL that you see on the screen. So it's www.youradvisorroadmap.com/Anne, okay, A-N-N-E. So it's www.youradvisorroadmap.com/Anne. A few people recently told us, for example, Shannon sent in an email that said, I've always had a hard time closing business. After joining the Advisor Roadmap virtual training, I'm 3 for 3. The first 3 times I used your process, I asked for a $5,000 upfront fee for planning, and I got it. Now, I'm a long way from mastery, but I'm very excited about my results so far. Frank sent an email in saying there is nothing, and I mean nothing, as good as this AdvisorRoadmap virtual training platform. I've looked at everything and nothing even comes close. I've gone from charging $0 for a financial plan to $2,500, and I'm raising my planning fee to $5,000 based on what I've learned so far. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so here's your reward. When you join the AdvisorRoadmap virtual training platform today, you only have until midnight, and use the URL on your screen. Because you're no longer going to procrastinate, because you've been through this program today, you'll also get the following items free. You'll get my Live Life with No Regrets audiobook. You'll get my Excuses Don't Count Results Rule audiobook. You'll get No Excuses, the action steps for making more money and getting better results now book and 10 audio program. That value is at $197. And you'll get the Backpack Audio Learning Series of 20 lessons. The value of that is $540. So the total value when you act today and join and become a member is basically you're going to get $791 high value, high content material to help you be even more successful. Now, what's my investment? I haven't even told you that yet. It will tell you when you go to the URL on the screen. Basically, it's only $100 a month for all the things that I talked about that come with the AdvisorRoadmap training. And Bill keeps talking about raising the price because there's so much content there that it's worth so much more. And that's true, it is, but I keep trying to keep him to not doing that yet. So it's $100 a month, or you can pay for the first 12 months, 1 year, for $900 on a one-time investment. That way you basically get 3 months free, or you save $300. So when you do this by the end of today, you basically can get $791 worth of value. So your investment is very minimal, especially if you do the $901 pay. So just check out the URL on your screen by tonight. Okay? Now let me just go and look for any questions that might have come up that I'm happy to answer here. Any other questions or issues? Jan's asking me, unfortunately, I'm not a great starter. Therefore, I'm basically not as successful as finishing. So how can I become a great finisher? How can you help with actually setting goals? So basically, you can actually do the Wheel of Life, Jan, on my website under accountabilitycoach.com. If you join the silver membership on my website, it's free. And under that is a Wheel of Life. So the thing that I have all of my clients do initially is really get a perspective of where they're at today in the 8 areas of their life, because I believe in work-life balance. So they set long-range personal and business goals, and then they chunk it down. So you really have to get clear on the why, Jan. So here's all the things I really want to have accomplished in my lifetime. You know, who am I with? What am I doing? What does it look like? Remember the vision board I talked about? Get really clear. And that will help you then go work your way backwards, chunk it down backwards. So if these are my long-range personal and business goals that will help me have a 10 in each one of my 8 areas of my Wheel of Life, then I can work my way backwards. There's a bunch of other resources and tools like that, like an ideal client profile, online exercise, some free articles, and a number of other things that are under the free silver membership that you can take advantage of. But you just have to sit down and really look at the big picture and work your way backwards. That would be my best advice for you. If you need further help, you can always go onto my website and shoot me an email. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Somebody missed the first 20 minutes. Yes, there'll be a recording and it will come out probably because it's a holiday weekend. I'm not sure my virtual assistant will get it all up in time on the website, but let me give you that URL of where it will be. And it will be here, so accountabilitycoach.com, IWebX, I don't know why she makes these so long, hyphen request, hyphen free, hyphen resources. Again, it will be when you signed up on the GoToMeeting for this particular program, it will also, the URL will be listed in there as well. So probably it won't be available until next week is my guess, Tuesday, just because it's the holiday weekend and I'm not sure when. Usually she gets it up within 2 days, but because of the holiday weekend, I'm not positive when she'll get that up. So that should answer that. Good. People are just commenting. Appreciate that. Hey, this was good. This was great. They're telling me what kind of a implementer they are. There are really none that I know of any goal setting templates. I just use the Wheel of Life, the people that I coach. And so it gives you the 8 areas. And when you're 10, again, future thinking, just breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. What do I have to do this year, Jan, in order to be on the path to achieving my long-range goals? Again, if you have any more questions, I can work that out with you. And oh, wow, good for you guys. Okay, Renee and Bill, I already enjoy AdvisorRoadmap. I have access to the great value giveaway today. Oh, I see. So you're good for you guys. Well, thank you we appreciate your support in being on the AdvisorRoadmap virtual training. Hopefully you're getting a lot of value and actually using it by putting time in your calendar to work through the things online and then actually implementing it. I will have to think about that. So that's a good question. So how can you get the free resources that I'm offering today? I'm just actually going to write your name down and then think about that and give you an email response back if that will be okay. I don't see any other questions on here from anybody else. So remember, if you want to sign up today for the AdvisorRoadmap virtual training, go check it out. I mean, just go and see what it says. I told you basically what's on it, but obviously the URL will give you more information. So it's youradvisorroadmap.com/Ann, and you can check that out. And if you do want to sign up, then make sure you sign up. I'm using the word Ann because that way I know who's signing up today under coming to this web class. Otherwise, I don't know who that is if you don't use my name in that. And then again, the URL for the recording will come out in the email response from the GoToMeeting service with this URL link. And again, it probably won't be until about Tuesday when the replay is up. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed weekend also. Have a fantastic time with the family, and hopefully you got some good value today. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.